Ohayo gozaimasu! It is day 78 here on Game a Dayer, and we're going to try something new. Because I have so many of these risque visual novels, we are going to be doing a Spring Sunday series. It is Sakura Spring Sundays. Or Sunday Spring Sakura? Anyway, we are going to be playing a Sakura game, visual novel, for each Sunday in spring. And even though it's not spring yet, we're, it's close enough. So today we are going to start with the first, or the oldest game in Winged Cloud's visual novel catalog, Sakura Spirit. It's a visual novel with, as you can see, fan-servicey character models. It has very positive reviews, but I'm not sure what this means. This game may include nudity and explicit sexual dialogue, so we'll see if we hit any of that. It is available on Steam for $10.99. I bought it as part of a bundle, and we are going to jump right in and play it. Okay. Oh dear. Oh boy. Alright, let's just start the game, shall we? Every person has a dream they wish to pursue. Yet, as people grow up, they often come to realize the truth. Dreams are nothing more than fairy tales. That's sad. At least, that's what most people say. Then, what about those who do end up accomplishing their dreams? Are they merely incredibly lucky? Every man has a dream he wants to accomplish. That's my dad voice. However, there is something really important you should know, my boy. A real man doesn't give up on his dreams, no matter what overwhelming challenges he might have to face. I still remember those foolish words my dad used to say, but despite their silly nature, I found myself inspired by them. Ever since I was a young child, I have been interested in martial arts. Hi-ya! It didn't matter whether I watched a match on television or read a manga about some heroic martial artist. It has always been my dream to become a martial artist one day. Of course, it was a bit childish of me to think that I could become a hero simply by learning martial arts. Even though I already understood that superheroes were nothing more than figments of my imagination, I still had a desire to use my strength for the sake of others. My name is, Oh, was that not all Dad? Maybe that was not all Dad. My name is Gushiken Takahiro. I am 17 years old, rising judo star. And no, that's not me bragging. I'm actually about to take part in a tournament 2 weeks from now that could make or break my career on an international level. Alright. Of course, I was excited about the opportunity to finally accomplish my dreams and represent my country at a sport that I loved. But the same excitement also made me feel incredibly nervous. And while those worrisome thoughts haunted my mind, a familiar voice resounded from outside my window. Oi! Taka-kun! Get your butt in gear! I'm assuming Koyomi is a girl. Okay, I'll be right there, Koyomi. Not wanting to keep Koyomi waiting, I quickly dashed toward the front door to let her in, not even realizing I was still in my pajamas. Hold on a second, Koyomi. Gotta grab my shoes before we can head off to school. Really? I never realized our school had a strict uniform or sleepwear policy. Nice jammies, by the way. Did you borrow them from your mom? For a moment, my eyes drifted downward, noticing that I was indeed wearing my pajamas. I let out a groan of annoyance and marched back toward my room. There's nothing wrong with my jammies. The Golden Knight is a famous comic book hero in the West. Besides, not everyone prefers to sleep naked like you. mumbling those words, I started stripping out of my clothes, not particularly minding the presence of the girl behind me. Okay, so there's a girl. That only happened once. You know very well it was super hot that night, and geez, warn me before you strip naked in front of me, you idiot. You didn't seem to mind it when we were little. Maybe you want me to turn around instead? No, stop! Don't make me kick your ass. I decided I had teased her enough and quickly pulled on my pants, proceeding with the remaining few items of clothing before I was suitably dressed for school. This a lot of description. Gonna need some coffee. Besides, I had a reason for being so distracted. You've been distracted a lot lately. What's going on in that hollow skull of yours? It's that upcoming match. I have no idea how anyone can remain calm when an international career is at stake. I wouldn't be surprised if I had made up enough doomsday scenarios to fill up the apocalypse genre. Oh, right, the judo thing. I'm sure you'll do fine. I've seen some of your matches, and you kick butt. And, of course, if you're really worried, you could always pray. Pray? What? Don't tell me you don't know. It's one of the school's legends. Apparently, there's some shrine out in the forest that, if you pray it to it, brings you good luck. This sounds like it could go badly. Ichikawa-san said that his sister prayed at it the night before her exam, and she got a perfect score. A shrine that is said to bring you luck. Sounds like bogus to me, but at this point I'm willing to try anything, I guess. I'm just gonna turn this music down a little bit. It's blaring in my ears. I'll ask Ichikawa-san about the location. I'm not exactly in the mood to get lost in the forest and end up modern-day Tarzan. Well, whatever. If you do go looking, at least send me a message to let me know. And will you hurry up? We're going to be late. Again. A hero is never too early, nor are they too late. They arrive precisely when they are needed. But for the sake of avoiding detention, let's hurry. That's a wizard, not a hero genius. How can one person be such a sports nerd and such a geek at the same time? Good question. Here's the answer. Sports nerds are geeks. Let's not forget that Casanova and the Man of the Year candidate... Let's not forget the Casanova and Men of the Year candidate bits. They're important details. I doubt you'd qualify for either of them, Xiao boy. Anyway, let us boldly go where where everyone has gone before. To school! Ugh, nerd! Several hours later, so I guess we're skipping over school. Later that day, I finally got a chance to talk to my classmate about the location of the shrine that Koyomi had mentioned earlier. Gym was the last thing on the schedule for today, so once people got ready to go home, I approached the guy. Hey, Ichikawa, is it true that your sister discovered some shrine that is said to bring you good luck? Ho ho ho, let me guess, you want to date her. Well, even though I do have to admit that she's very attractive, I'm afraid she's already going out with someone. Not to mention, you're not her type. I already got my hands full dealing with Koyomi. You can keep your sister to yourself. Joke aside, I'm more interested in that shrine. Did she mention where she found it? I don't know. I didn't know there was anything near the forest aside from the dojo. Oh, well, she said something about it being near a river and quite high up. To be honest, I wasn't paying too much attention when she was going on about it. I mean, she was wearing this top, and it was tight, and... Stop! I seriously don't need to hear the details, and I doubt anyone else is interested. So, do you know anyone who might have heard about the shrine? Are you guys talking about that lucky shrine out in the forest? The one and only. According to Ichikawa's sister, it's supposed to be, one near a river. I don't know about that, but there's this fiery girl at the Sakura dojo who knows more about it. Wait, are you talking about this guy? Wait, are you talking about Aria-sama? About this tall, ridiculously strong, and super scary? That's the one. Oh, in that case, I believe I can still be of help, Takahiro-kun. I know where that place is. Of course you do. We both do. You just want to tag along, don't you? I don't think Aria-senpai will appreciate you visiting her with your unusual tricks in mind. With your usual tricks in mind. Do I need to remind you what happened last time you tried to peek at her after she finished practice? Blood, sweat, and tears. Shut up! I didn't peep on the ladies. That's slander, you know. I could sue you. I would never look upon Aria-sama's glorious body in any state of nudity. Oh, so you haven't seen her naked yet? I've seen a bit of side boob, but the hole I found didn't really let me get a good view of... There we go. Someone call the cops. Ichikawa's the peeping Tom has confessed. I playfully pat Ichikawa's shoulder as I turn around, grabbing my bag in the process and preparing to leave. And prepared to leave. Thanks for the tip, Ichikawa. I'll let the judge know you were most helpful during the interrogation. This is unfair. I was coerced. I didn't say another word until I speak with my lawyer. I won't say. Sorry, my reading is... Oh, that's pretty. Once school was over, I decided to take my chances with a little bit of intel I had managed to obtain from my classmates. If memory served me right, Aria-senpai would be practicing at the dojo today. Of course, I knew her. She was a dojo student just like myself, but for whatever reason, she had been refusing to compete in any tournament for a while now. Aria-senpai, are you around? I shouted her name as I parked my bike, looking around for any sign of the girl. Hi-ya! 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 Follow the shouts and you will find her. I grinned briefly as I saw Aria seemingly in the middle of practicing a series of motions, almost as if she was fighting an imaginary opponent. Perhaps now was a perfect opportunity to surprise her a little? I snuck closer, making sure to make as little noise as possible before I reach a hand toward her shoulder. And you're gonna get clocked. Aria, feeling a hand on her shoulder, Aria reacted. She grabbed hold of my hand, and with a loud grunt, shifted her weight, curling and tipping me over her shoulder. I didn't have time to brace myself for the impact before I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. Woof. Hiya! No one sneaks up on the great Kunoichi. Aria? Oh, Takaboy. I didn't realize it was you. I'm sorry. Are you okay? Kunoichi? More like Tasmanian devil. That throw didn't have a shred of mercy in it. There's no mercy in the ring, Takaboy. Better you learn that now than in 2 weeks' time. Let me guess. You want to do some sparring, don't you? I actually came here to ask you something, but I guess a little sparring wouldn't hurt. Oh? What do you want to ask? We've got all afternoon, and I could do with a bit of a break anyway. So, I want to take an aside here. There has been a lot of tropey nonsense, even in the little, what have we been playing for 5-10 minutes? But even with that, at least the characters all seem like reasonably decent people, with the exception of Rapey McPeeping Tom guy. But like, there's no false antagonism so far. I don't know. I'm enjoying myself. Back to it. Where to start? You used to take part in big and important matches in the past, right? Didn't you ever get nervous before going into the ring? Oh yeah, This one time, I got so nervous, I hid in the kitchen cupboards until my dad found me and dragged me to the car. Of course, that was when I was like 8. She looks like she's 8. Well, obviously I can't go hide from my match, but one of my friends made the stupid suggestion that I go and pray or something. Honestly, at this point, I'll do anything to calm my nerves a little. Taka boy, are you sure about this? You mean the match? Of course I am. I've been practicing judo ever since I was old enough to walk. This is my chance to finally represent my country and the sport I love. Aria seemed to think for quite a long time, all the while tapping her jaw with a finger. Eventually, she snapped her fingers and grabbed a tight hold of me. All right, I'll tell you the way to this shrine I know, but it's going to require more than a simple clap of your hands and bob of your head. You need to give something to the shrine, something of value. I guess I'll have to think of something before we get there. Thanks, Senpai. I appreciate the help. We? Oh, no. Taka boy, I'm not going with you. I've got training to do. Besides, you've got to take this step yourself. I can draw you a map and show you an easy way to get there, but you'll be on your own. You're not tagging along? Not even for a little while? Afraid so, Taka boy. Let me just grab some paper. I'll draw that map for you. After Aria's return, quick preparations were made, and I followed the directions noted down on the map. Surprisingly, it wasn't all that far. However, the hint on how to find my way back in case I got lost was a bit sketchy. Just look down, and you'll be able to see the roof of the dojo from anywhere on the hill. The forest near the dojo was my first challenge to overcome. A narrow path coiled along the trees, and nearby was a river Ichikawa's sister had mentioned. I followed Aria's scribbles with a bit of skepticism, but after an hour or so, I finally arrived at the supposedly legendary shrine. The shrine itself seemed surprisingly well maintained despite being in the middle of nowhere. It made me wonder if someone could secretly be living here, perhaps some secret martial arts master? The thought of a hermit living in hiding within the shrine in order to prepare myself for an upcoming battle between good and evil started to dwell on my mind. I guess it's too good to be true. I sighed in annoyance at the fact that, aside from the shrine itself, the grounds surrounding it were completely abandoned. There was no way anyone could be living here. For the time being, I decided to focus on the reasons behind my visit. It only took a few moments before I gathered the courage to approach the building. Once inside, I found a rather fancy-looking altar of sorts at the back of the room. This sounds sketchy. I guess this is the thing everyone's talking about. Silently, I folded up my map, the map I was given, and putting it inside my bag, I approached the altar. I was kind of skeptical with the whole religious aspect, so I wasn't sure if this was actually going to work. I don't even think luck will do me much good in a match like this. In my opinion, there wasn't any room for things like luck in martial arts. Hey, it's better to be lucky than good, but being good is more consistent. Judo is all about using the knowledge you have gained through training. Of course, a good amount of talent also helps. There was simply no room for something as superstitious as luck. Clearly, this was going to be a match where my experience and talent would be pushed to their limits. Nothing more and nothing less. How curious. A boy doesn't believe in superstition, and yet he stands here, surrounded by the very thing he denounces. Upon hearing the voice, I looked around, trying to find the source, but there was no one to be seen. Who's there? Quite the cliched question, but the right thing to ask is, where am I? What are you talking about? Show yourself. Not yet. Entertain me for a little while longer, won't you? This is a place like no other. Why did you come here, if you do not believe in such things as luck? I came here to prepare myself. Oh, do enlighten me about what this something might be that you're preparing yourself for. Felt a little bit annoyed as the questions continued, but maybe if I kept talking to her, I would be able to find out where Shell was hiding. I'm preparing for a tournament, a judo match. Judo? What might that be? Seriously, you don't know what judo is? It's a highly skilled combat art. Aha, so you're a warrior, hesitant to go into battle, and came here in hope of finding the resolve to fight. I'm not sure about the warrior part. How fortunate. It just so happens that there is a need of one of your kind. My kind? A hero. This shrine brings fortune to heroes such as yourself. However, every great hero must sacrifice something in return. Sounds like what the others mentioned. Your version sounds better, though. Laughing briefly at the story, I decide to play along and clap my hands together in prayer. So what's next? Do I offer up my allowance or something? Don't be silly. Money is of little importance to a hero. For you, the sacrifice will be something that's of much greater value. I will be looking forward to seeing what destiny has in store for you. As if on cue, I began to feel nauseated the moment the girl's words reached my ears, my head spinning wildly. Slowly, I staggered backward, collapsing onto my back. As my vision grew blurry, the sound of approaching footsteps could be heard. Good luck, hero. You're going to need it. That doesn't look like a mysterious girl. That looks like a booby demon. Despite my attempts to get back up, all I managed was a brief look at the girl. The sight of horns and a tail left many questions, but before I had a chance to utter even a single word, my consciousness succumbed to darkness. Rays of sunlight stirred me back to life, a groaning of annoyance leaving my mouth while I tried to get back onto my feet. I felt a bit dizzy, but the first thing I noticed was that I was no longer at the shrine. Instead, it looked like the forest near the dojo. Of course, my first thought was to look around to see if I could find the girl from before, but not a trace of her presence remained. To make things even stranger, the path that I had followed amidst the trees seemed to be better maintained than I remembered. I should probably head home. Yeah, you time travel, bro. That thought was cut short when the sound of several female voices could be heard nearby. Get back here! Hikage, stop them at once! Just what do you think I'm doing? I'm chasing them. I'm trying to stop them. Yeah, I think they noticed what's missing, Oni-sama. Keep running, little one. We might just make it. Just when I thought this day couldn't get any weirder, the sound of heavy footfalls could be heard nearby. Okay. What in the world is going on here? Further ahead, I saw a couple of girls in fast pursuit of even more girls. However, there was something off about the scene, something that didn't make any sense. Well, the two being chased are kitsune, that's for sure. The girls being chased had the ears and tails of animals, and their pursuers appeared to be armed with katana and naginata. That spear type thing is a naginata. You conniving fox! Come back here at once. Return what you stole immediately. Give me back my panties! Hikage, how could you say something out loud like that? Panties, panties. Haha, oh no, help save us from the rampaging woman. As I watched the girls run off, I couldn't help but find myself struggling with the decision to just leave them be. While I didn't know what in the world was going on, the two girls armed with rather realistic-looking props, surely they couldn't be real, had me worried. I couldn't very well call myself a hero if I let something like this go by without acting. I'm so going to regret this. Mumbling in annoyance, I chased after the girls. Hikage, go around to the left! Right! I said left! Why do you always undermine me? Really? We're gonna do the Laurel and Hardy thing? I wasn't saying right, I was... You know what? Never mind. Just run after them. As I was chasing the girls, I noticed that the trees seemed to be getting denser, making it gradually more difficult to navigate along the path. Oni-sama, I don't think I can run much more. I'm starting to feel a bit... Just a little longer, Meiko-chan. We're almost... Meiko! Meiko, not that! Not now! Sorry, Oni-sama. Scissor attack! I arrived just in time to find a scene taken straight from an action movie. The girl with the blonde hair had collapsed, held in her companion's protective embrace. The two armed girls were approaching them, almost unmistakably with killing instincts running amok. Any seasoned martial artist would have felt it. Those girls were going to be in for a beating if I didn't stop them. We've got you now, thieves. I'm going to personally drag your sorry butts back to town and have you both put in stocks. Maybe I'll even show you how it feels to run around without any undies on. Yeah, although I must admit, having a breeze down there does feel kind of nice. Keeps me feeling fresh and tingly. Hikage, goodness, don't you have any shame? This isn't about you, it's about our undergarments stolen, and these two criminals being brought to justice. Oni-sama, it hurts. My head hurts. Shh, it's going to be okay, little one. Hey, guards, if you're so desperate to have your underwear back, then here, catch. Stop it right there. However, before I was able to interrupt the conversation, the silver-haired girl tossed something into the air. Whatever it was flying straight toward my head. The two samurai girls instantly grew flustered. Ugh, I can't see. Who the hell tosses a... Peeling the item off my face, I raised them into the air, looking like a professor examining an important sample while the thieves made their escape. Pink bra and lacy black panties. Really? Couldn't coordinate? Oh boy, I knew this wasn't going to end well. Ha! You there! Are you in cahoots with those crafty foxes? And hand those back immediately. Those are evidence of a crime and not for anyone else to touch. Drop the panties right now! I'm innocent until proven guilty. It's one of the golden rules of the court. Just stop pointing those weapons at me so I can hand over your undies without being turned into shish kebab. Wait, no, stop! Shut up! Just drop the evidence and walk away. I am Tsukino Mio, Chief of the Village Guards. I am ordering you to drop what you're holding right now. I don't know of any village guards, and I seriously doubt a cop would go around dressed like that, and wielding a katana. More importantly, the ground here is muddy and dirty. Are you sure I should drop the evidence here? I mean, I could, but... Yeah! Before I could react, the pink-haired girl lunged toward me, the pointy end of her naginata aiming for my gut. My reflexes caught on just in time, and I was able to palm away the spear as it sailed through the air. I strike upward on the wooden shaft of the weapon, sending it into the air and causing the girl to lose her balance. Narumi! I did not order you to attack! Fine, I'll give them back. Jeez. My luck to find a bunch of crazy girls with weapons. Extending my hand that held the undies, I tried to hand them over, something that I would soon end up regretting. Ha! You think I'd fall for something so simple, fool? You may have fooled me once, but I won't let it happen again. The woman swung her weapon wide, arcing the thick wooden pole into my side before I could dodge. She then lunged forward and grabbed me tightly, pulling my arms around my back, leaving me with sore ribs and in a prone position. I could have fought back, but I figured it would only lead to more fighting. With the possibility of ending up stabbed, I decided to remain passive. The sword-wielding girl stepped forward and grabbed the silky underwear from my hand triumphantly. Humph, your methods might be crude, but they do get results, Hikage. Tie him up. We'll bring him in for questioning. He probably knows where those pesky thieves are hiding. Right! And people wonder why criminals want to resist arrest at all costs. I mumbled this weakly as the girl with the naginata tied my wrists together with rope, and I soon felt myself dragged by the duo toward the city. Surely, once we're out of the forest, you two will stop this act of yours and let me go, right? As much as I like to fool around, I have more important things to do. The city? Ha! We're not taking you all the way there. You'll be spending the night in the village cells, thief. Who are you calling a thief? I'm the victim. First I get undies tossed in my face, then I have to deal with physical abuse, and now these accusations? Besides, there's no village around these parts. It's a city, you know. Tsukino Toshi. Silence, Hikage. If he speaks again before we get to the village, you have my permission to knock him unconscious. Tsundere tyrant. That's funny. And that's how I ended up on my way to a jail cell, cuffed and dragged by two girls, both of who I started to suspect were crazy. Oh, it's very pretty. When we exited the forest, alarms set off in my mind. The city I had lived in my whole life, it was gone. You've got to be kidding me. If I wasn't in Tsukino Toshi, then where the hell was I? Hey, no talking. Come on, I don't want to bop you that much. Kinda. Maybe a punch or two. I just want to know how the heck you blocked my strike so easily. Your attack had a lot of power behind it, but it was kind of predictable. With the right movement and enough force, that's the result you would get. Anyway, I'll play along for a bit. Where in the world are we? This clearly isn't my hometown. I mean, the buildings look like they belong in some sort of classic samurai movie. What the heck is a movie? This is Harumaru. It's been here forever. Hikage, I thought I told you to silence him if he spoke again. Actually, you told me I could, but you didn't tell me I had to. It must be tough being the subordinate of someone like that. Be quiet, or I will silence you for good. This time, it didn't seem to be an idle threat. The girl had unsheathed her katana and was now resting the edge of the blade against my throat. I was already starting to regret having played a hero earlier. Hopefully, there would be someone with more common sense in the village. Several minutes later... I soon found myself confined within a small room, the stern-looking tsundere of a girl glaring down at me while the other girl, who was apparently called Narumi, seemed to have softened up a little. From what I had gathered during their conversations, they had called the village elder and to help oversee my questioning. What purposes did those thieves have, or are you just some pervert who gets off sniffing girls' undies? I ought to castrate you. So much for not having forced antagonism, etc. I already told you, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not to mention, anything worn by you would probably smell sour. I couldn't see too well from the cell where they had put me, but I was almost certain I could hear Narumi laughing nearby. Tsukino Dono, please calm down. You brought him in to learn the reason behind his presence in the forest, didn't you? That's correct, Elder Sama. I believe he was working together with the fox spirits to steal panties and other undergarments. Objection! Huh? What are you objecting to, young man? The evidence surrounding the defendant's accusation was fabricated. Narumi-san, would you please answer these questions for the judge? Was the defendant, that is, myself, anywhere near those girls while you two were in pursuit of them? Hold it! Just who are you calling judge here? Lower your voice or I will strike you down. Hey, Mio-san, maybe the whole angry accusation thing isn't working. This guy clearly isn't a bandit. We could just ask him why he was up there in the woods. If he has a valid reason, then sure. If not, then he's clearly a panty thief, and we'll use him as a punching bag out in the yard. Finally, and here I thought this was going to become a turnabout case. I sighed deeply, partly amused by my own act despite the seriousness of the situation. Who would have ever thought mimicking characters from games and movies would end up getting me out of trouble? Little, what's his name? Ace something or other. Ace Attorney thing. As long as I didn't become an ace prisoner, things would hopefully turn out for the better. A wise idea, Narumi-chan. How about you start by giving us your name? Gushiken Takahiro. So, what were you doing in the forest when these two were chasing the thieves? I'm not entirely sure myself. One moment I was praying at a shrine, hidden inside the forest. Next thing I knew, some weird girl was talking to me. A girl? Yes, a girl with horns and a tail. I know it sounds weird, but I could have sworn I saw her before. I must have fainted? After that, I woke up somewhere in the forest. Tsukino Dono, Narumi-chan, Do you recall these stories behind the shrine near our village? Forgive me, Elder Sama, I do not recall. I know it's a place of high spiritual energy, a sacred place, but I can't remember the details. Sorry, grandfather. That shrine belongs to Suyuri, a powerful spirit that has been watching over our village for as long as anyone can remember. Unlike the fox spirits, we tend to avoid going too deep into the forest. I still think I could get rid of those pests once and for all if you would just let me go in and find their home. It's probably hidden in some damp cave on a hill, or some run-down old house. Humans and spirits rarely mingle, even if they meet with good intentions. The fact that this lad says he saw a spirit means that there is a chance he is here for a reason. Not to mention, did you take a good look at him yet? He seems disoriented and his clothes look foreign. He did seem to be talking gibberish earlier. He claimed to be from a city near here, but there's nothing like that around for miles. He was also talking about something called a movie, and he used some fighting techniques that I have never seen before. He's still a pervert. I'm not a pervert. It's perfectly natural for a guy my age to be curious about certain things. Besides, if you're talking about how the panties ended up in my face, I had nothing to do with it. Tsundere tyrant. What did you call me? I ought to smash you to pieces, you brat. Oh, wait, now that I think about it, those two foxes did look like they were just abandoning them. But, grandfather, what does all this mean? I can't be certain. However, I believe it is unlikely that he's working together with the fox spirits. Still, I have never heard of any human to come upon a spirit such as Suyuri. I dare say he might not even be of this world. Wait, are you trying to say that I'm in a different world now? That would be the most logical explanation. In what world would that be considered logical? But I have an important tournament to participate 2 weeks from now. Well, no one has ever experienced something like this before. We will have to think of how to deal with you, or if it is even possible to get you back to your home world. In the meantime, a night in the cell won't hurt. He did assault a village guard, and he resisted arrest. He could stay here until he rots for all I care, but I suspect the Elder will wish to have a talk with you soon. Hikage, I'm going to clean myself off. I suggest you do the same. I would take offense for implying that I stink, but that was one hell of a run. Those fox spirits run fast. I would still like to know more about those techniques, Takehiro-san. If you do happen to stick around, I might want to go a few rounds with you. It's not like I'll be going anywhere for the time being. It is only for a few hours while we discuss what to do with you. A person such as yourself would end up causing quite a commotion among the villagers, so it is necessary to convince them that you mean them no harm before we release you. And that is how I found myself stuck in a jail cell, while the people responsible for my situation left to deal with personal errands. This sucks. As if being sent to a different world wasn't bad enough, I'm stuck in jail with my only companion being a pair of beautiful, magnificent, majestic fox sisters, you lucky boy. A pair of beautiful... Wait a second. Yaha, yoo-hoo. Hi there, panty boy. A familiar face appeared at the top of my cell, a blonde girl with golden eyes. As I watched, she flipped over and landed in front of the cell, waving her hands at me. From the side of the cell, another girl appeared, a wry grin on her face. Ah, it's the panty thieves. If you're here to reclaim your hostages, they're already back where they belong. Nope, we saw the guards go into the baths and swipe the maiden's silk again. Look! With that, she pulled out a pair of lacy, silken underwear from her sleeve and stretched out with her thumbs, showing off her panty prize to me. You came all the way back here to snatch their undergarments again, and I'm not sure the Sundari Tyrant fits that label. The cutie with the katana? You would be surprised. I happen to believe that she is as innocent as one can be. She seems far too uptight to let any man touch her. As for returning to the village, we have a debt to settle. I smiled weakly as I wondered what the fox meant by debt. I'm not sure what this debt of yours might be, but I think you better leave before those two return. You don't seem to be on friendly terms with the samurai girls. Wait, if he doesn't know about it, we can just leave, Amisama. Mako. That is not how we do things. Young man, your actions allowed us to escape for our earlier predicament without harm. That places us in your debt, for which we are now repaying you. Mako, do the magic. Okay. The younger girl walked forward and placed her hands upon the locked door of the cell. She began mumbling something that I couldn't even begin to understand, and her hands began glowing brightly. Different worlds, girls wielding weapons, and now fox girls using magic. Next on the list, I'm going to find a talkative magical sword and end up destined to save the world. That said, I was curious to see what this magic would do to the lock keeping me imprisoned. Ha! The glow flared for a moment before quickly fading. There was a hiss and then a sizzle, and then the lock dripped to the floor in a mess of melted metal. Well done, Mako-chan. You did very well. Relax for now, alright? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be the most surprised about. The fact that a girl just melted a steel lock, or that I'm starting to accept that this is normal. This level of magic is extraordinary. Mako-chan is quite gifted. But as I said, we are here to settle our debt. If you would like, we can escort you back to the forest where we first encountered you. I do, however, suggest that you decide quickly. The guards do not bathe for long. I should know. I have observed them for a while. Well, I don't plan on sticking around, so I'll gladly accompany the two of you out of here. Maybe I'll be able to find my way back home. Lead the way, Peeping Tammy. Machiko. Sakura no Machiko, not Tammy. Takahiro, but I suggest we keep introductions for later. Very well then, Taka-kun. Follow. As I was stepping out of the cell, the sound of a familiar voice boomed in the distance. Thieves! Crafty fox kleptomaniacs! I'll skin you alive! I think that's our cue to get out of here. And with that, the three of us darted out of the prison. And that's pretty much what happened. According to the village elder, there's supposed to be a shrine somewhere in the forest. It was the same one I visited before I got caught up in this mess. Goodness, that sounds like a terrible situation. I know the spirits such as Suyuri enjoy playing with people, but this seems a little cruel for her. I would speak to her myself, but, well, fox spirits are not allowed near the shrine. Huh? I thought the reason we never went in there was because you get all flustered whenever Tsuku-chan's around. Shut up, Mako. I didn't realize the panty thief could get embarrassed like that, but maybe you two could show me the way to the shrine. Somehow, the layout of this forest seems different from my world. Which pretty much meant that Aria's map was useless now. You do not understand. There is more to the ways of spirits than meets the eye, Takakun. I will try to navigate you to the shrine, but if Suyuri does not want us there, then we will simply not get there. The only place we can navigate to directly are our home and the village. I can use gate magic, but that takes a super long time to cast, and unless I concentrate really hard, it usually ends up just taking us someplace not fun. I think I'll prefer taking the ground route, but thanks for the offer. Mako-chan, was it? That's right. Sakura no Maiko. At your service. Yay, my first human friend. Silly girl. Not that I doubt your navigation skills or anything, but didn't we cross this path a while ago? Oh, you're right. Why are we back here, Onisama? Huh? I thought you were leading the way. Wait, I think if we turn this way, cut through these trees here, we might... Ah! The girl seemingly disappeared out of sight as she stepped in between two tall trunks, only to be followed by a loud splash. I ran toward the trees and looked down to see the girl, arms flailing wildly, neck deep in the shallow, moving river. Ah, Onisama, quick, please, you have to help her, I'm begging you. I'll do whatever you want, just please save her. Help! It doesn't look that deep, you know. Don't tell me that your sister can't. She can't swim, neither of us can. Please, Takahiro-sama, please rescue my sister. I guess I don't have a choice. Smiling weakly, I pull off my jacket and dove into the river, the cold water sending shivers down my spine as I swam toward Machinko, who, despite the lack of a strong current, was slowly disappearing under the water. Urged on by the worried shouts of Maiko, I tried to reach the girl as quickly as possible. It took me a few strokes before I reached her, but by the time I had grabbed a hold of her and pulled her out of the water, she had lost consciousness. She's not breathing. I felt my stomach drop. Dreadful thoughts of what might happen if I didn't do something began to fill my mind. But what in the world could I possibly do? CPR? I don't know what that is, but she's not breathing. Help her. Please save her. Onisama, please wake up. Okay, but I need to concentrate. Can you find me something dry to dry her off with? Right. Great. A mage without a revive spell. As if trying to steel my nerves for what I was about to do, I muttered those words just before leaning in. All I could remember from my first aid training was that the patient had to be in the so-called recovery position. No, that's not right. The recovery position is not for CPR. And that I had to blow air into her mouth and push down on her chest. Oh boy. My heart pounded faster and faster as I looked down at the fox squirrel. I could feel my cheeks heating up as a blush crossed my face. Everyone should know first aid, and everyone should be able to do first aid because, you know, it's just a handy skill for everyone to have. But having it in things like this, in a sort of cheeky, oh, we're going to touch her to save her life kind of thing, is just cheap narrative. Clumsily, I put her into what I hoped was the right position, and slowly I lowered myself toward her face. My lips parted. Lovely. If you were this desperate for a kiss, you could have just asked. I know I am beautiful, exquisite creature, but pushing me into the river so you can play the hero was a bit too much, Taka-kun. It's not like that. I went in to save you. Oh ho ho, why thank you, O valiant hero, for your rescue. I must admit, I am not the greatest swimmer. But you know, it is often better to get permission from the maiden you've rescued before you claim them as your reward, silly. I didn't have a choice. I either claimed your lips or death would have claimed you instead. And a bold choice that was. Where is Meiko? I hope she didn't try to save me first. She is an even worse swimmer than I am. She's fine. She should be heading back right now. In that case, I believe we have enough time. So how about it, Taka-kun? My little sister will be back in a few minutes, and I am sure a boy like you has probably never kissed a girl before. So, how about it? Want to claim this maiden's lips? Don't make me toss you back in the river. Aw, such a shame, too. I was looking forward to finding out just how sweet your lips tasted. I'm not sure I want to find out what wet fox tastes like. Oh, I assure you, I taste a lot better when I'm wet. For some reason, I didn't think we were talking about the same thing anymore. I felt my cheeks flush up slightly at Machiko's teasing words, and I awkwardly scratched my cheek. Anyway, at this rate, you're going to catch cold. Then perhaps you should warm me up, Taka-kun. More importantly, we could get you out of these soggy clothes. Oh my, Taka-kun, so bold. Please, won't you unbutton my top? Your top doesn't have buttons. If you insist. My fingers shook as I reached down to the laces of her bodice and I was blushing brightly, and my head was spinning as I felt my fingers touch the cloth. Before I could continue any further, I heard a whoosh behind me and felt something heavy impact my body. My body toppled forward, and I felt a nasty blow on the back of my head. Oni-sama, I brought the... Oh no, Takahiro! I could barely focus as the blonde fox girl began to fuss over me, but it was no good. Between running my butt off all day, the tsundere tyrant, the following rescue, and now the blow to the head, I felt myself slip into unconsciousness. We're gonna pause here briefly, I think, or... Yeah, we're gonna pause here briefly. Okay, back. Later that day. Hours must have passed by the time I finally regained consciousness. The first thing I noticed was something soft resting against me. For a moment, I wondered what it could be. Little did I know that whatever it was, I would soon be very much awake. Huh. Well, okay then. Machiko? My voice caught in my throat, easily betrayed by my surprise at seeing the fox spirit resting beside me. Of course, it didn't help that she was stark naked, that my gaze drifted along her features. I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it until now, but she really was beautiful. Now's my chance. I had been curious about something for a while now, so I decided to finally get my answer. I carefully lifted my hand toward her head, my fingertips lightly caressing along a single furry ear. To my surprise, the fur felt real, confirming my theory. So, she's a real fox spirit. As I looked over the peacefully sleeping girl, it was difficult to imagine someone like her being a panty-stealing troublemaker. Up close, she looked incredibly cute, and naked at that, no less. The fact that she was laying right beside me caused my cheeks to flare up beet red in an instant. No, Tsuyuri, not again. Is she dreaming? Amused by this, I reached a hand out to poke her cheek gently, but the sound of footsteps made me reconsider. Ah, Takehiro, you're awake. Shh, don't wake Onisama. She's a light sleeper, and she's been super tired lately. Sure, but Meiko-chan, mind explaining to me why your sister is sleeping next to me without clothes on? Hehe, you two looked super cute all cuddled up together. Earlier, Onisama said that you told her it was important that she took her clothes off, so she took hers off, and then we took yours off. After that, she tried to keep you both warm by getting under the covers and laying in the sun. However, in the end, she fell asleep. Were you watching me just now? Yup, you were both sleeping so soundly. It was super adorable. I wanted to cuddle up to you too, but Onisama told me off for cuddling with her in her sleep before. I think I get it. She does look rather adorable when she's sleeping like that. Let's keep it that way for now, Meiko. I took a deep breath. I was about to open my mouth and say something when Meiko suddenly spoke up with a smile. We brought you home to our mansion. We brought you to our spare room because it was the best light. It has the best light during the day. I was only watching you for a bit when I got bored, so I went and made some soup. Onisama always makes soup for me when I feel bad. Do you want some? Sure, I could go for some soup, Meiko-chan. Before that, I need to ask you a favor. I need you to go and get my clothes, because I'm kinda naked here. I lifted the blanket enough to allow a shameful glance at the cause of my current predicament. My face visibly took on the shade of tomato when I noticed Meiko leaning over for a similar peek under the blanket. I quickly closed the gap. I think I'm going to stay under the blanket for a bit. Could you just please bring me my clothes? Aw, but you might wake her up if you don't go back to sleep. But fine, if you insist, I'll go get your clothes. You're no fun, you know. I wanted to see what a human looked like, but Onisama forbid me from peeking. Please just go. The girl almost skipped to the door, giggling to herself. The door slid open, and she hopped outside, vanishing behind the paper screen. Once I had confirmed that Meiko had left the room, I turned my gaze sideways, focusing back on the peaceful expression of the slumbering fox by my side. For a moment, I thought about the things the two girls had been accused of. Okay, so stealing underwear isn't exactly the nicest thing to do, but when I look at her like this, I can't picture her as anything but a normal girl. While the temptation to lift the blanket was strong, I felt a little nervous about the thought. Still, as much as I tried to hold myself back, I couldn't rest the temptation of turning to my side and getting a better glimpse of her. Gingerly, I took hold of the blanket. No, Takehiro. Neither a gentleman nor a hero takes advantage of a sleeping lady. So, as another aside, I kind of feel like if you're in this position with someone, they've granted consent for you to look at them because they're, in this position with you, but yes, touching would be off limits. It's all about intent and consent, and it's better to stay on the safe side, so good man. And yet, who am I kidding? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In the end, the perverted little devil within me won the morality struggle, and with shaking hands, I tried to lift the blanket. Stop. Yikes. I don't want any blackberries. White as the very sheets I was laying on, my heart pounded louder than ever. Without a word, I dropped the blanket. She was still dreaming, mumbling away in her sleep, but she was scared. She had scared the living daylights out of me. After a while, Meiko returned and posited my now dry clothes in my lap. She smiled at me and lingered for a few moments, as if expecting me to begin changing. Oh, of course, the soup. I'll go get it now. But don't change too slowly, okay? I bet you hate for me to sneak in a peek. Don't think guys spend as much time changing as girls. Wait, were you planning to peek on me? It occurred to me that perhaps Meiko was more like her sister than I had first assumed. It sure sounds like you know what you're talking about, Takahiro, and, well, I might have been thinking about it. I'm kinda curious about the difference between us foxes and you humans. It was amazing how easily you carried Sis out of the water. Is it because you're human? Actually, I think it's probably because I'm a guy. We tend to be stronger than girls, not to mention I practice judo almost every day. It would be embarrassing if I couldn't even carry a girl. Judo? Judo. It's a sport of sorts, although it's used for self-defense. Is that why you saved her? Because of this judo? Well, that's not really it. Ultimately, saving a damsel in distress hinges on a man's pride. Oh, can I see it? Your pride? And just what exactly are you looking for, little sister? Oh, Nisama, I wasn't... You're wrong. The soup. The soup's still cooking. I need to tend to it. She scampers off. The younger girl scampers off scrambled to her feet and dashed out of the room at full speed, her tail comically hanging between her legs as she did. I turned to Machiko with a faint blush on my face, averting my eyes so she could pull the sheet back up around herself. Ah, I see you're finally awake, Machiko-san. With you two making such a fuss about judo and soup, how could I possibly hope to get any sleep? I am glad to see that you are well, Takakun. Forgive me for taking such measures, but I feared that I wasn't getting warm fast enough, and did what I thought was necessary. At least it was more enjoyable sleep. It was a more enjoyable sleep than you would have had in the cell. I doubt the tsundere tyrant, was it? I doubt she would have given you the same service. Let's just say the hospitality was much appreciated. I'm glad to hear it. If you would like to change, there is a screen just over there. I promise I won't look, of course. I guess one of us has to do it. I watched Machiko close her eyes, hiding her face in her hands as if to reassure me that she wouldn't peek. Taking my chance, I climbed out from under the blanket and made my way toward the wooden screen. You know, he changed in front of a girl in the very first scene in this novel. Of course, it was a girl who he'd been friends with forever, but still. Once I reached it, I quickly began changing. If you could be so kind as to do me a favor, Taka-kun, my robes should be upon the dresser behind you. Could you pass them to me, please? It would speed matters up greatly. Ah, sure, give me a second. After looking around for a moment, I found the robes neatly folded on the dresser. My heart skipped a beat as I took a hold of them, before turning toward the screen to hand them over. Say, Machiko-san, how come you two walk around stealing people's underwear? I mean, you don't look like bad people to me. Well, it is complicated. Meiko was researching a spell that she had wanted to perform, that would allow us easier access to certain things we need, and one of the ingredients was a maiden's silk. The only silk I could think of was, well, you already know the answer. By maiden silk, you mean... I guess I understand why you would think that, but isn't maiden silk another term for a wedding sash? It is in my world, at least. As I said this, the girl appeared from the other side of the screen. I never realized... What's that, Onisama? A maiden silk. It is a wedding sash. All our hard work was for naught. Oh, well, at least a wedding sash will be easier to get. I'll just have to marry Taka-kun. What? A few minutes later... After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the younger girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from embarrassment. To think that a girl would say such a thing. I quickly shook my head to clear the thoughts from my mind and turned toward the elder sister. This soup is delicious. Is Meiko-chan usually the one doing the cooking around here? Yay, I'm glad you like it, Takahito. I don't usually cook, so I made a few lucky guesses. It is rather delicious, Meiko-chan. Perhaps you could do more cooking from now on. It would allow me more time to lounge around. Well, the first step to getting your wedding sash is become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. I added that with a bit of amusement following Machiko's comments. I took another sip of soup. For a few lucky guesses, the dish had turned out pretty well. That's true. I'll learn how to clean, and I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Maiko, you should stop that. You know very well that it would be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft a wedding sash, and we both know this will not happen. That's not necessarily true, Machiko-san. It only becomes ever more evident that you are not of this world, Taka-kun. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We could never ask such a favor of them. All we need to do is to find some way to make the villagers accept you. But I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before we can do that. The pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattening against her head as she did. It is not that simple. They would never trust us. Humans and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I am honestly surprised that you have been able to tolerate us this long. I would be happy to be proven wrong, And you are free to stay here as long as you wish, until, of course, you too grow weary of our ways and decide to leave. Ani-sama, please don't say things like that. Takahiro wouldn't do that, would you, Takahiro? Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they're different species. That's not the way Gushiken Takahiro does things. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that it wasn't just the fox spirits. It sounded like humans and spirits everywhere have been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Machiko-san? I do not recall. Much information is withheld even from someone such as myself. Most spirits keep to themselves these days. There are a few exceptions, Suyuri being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Fox spirits, however, have no other place to go. We are stuck in the human world, for better or for worse. Huh? I didn't realize it was like that. I guess I'm finally learning stuff. Well, this Suyuri character lives in the shrine, right? We could try to ask her for some ideas. No. We do not need to go see her. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to see her. I don't want to. I was somewhat taken aback by Machiko's suddenly childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I had been told to go visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the only one that can help us? I refuse to go. Suyuri is a fiend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence. She can't be that bad, can she? Besides, if anything happens, I'll protect you. I'll protect you. Fine. If it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You will be on your own, Taka-kun. Can I come, Ome-sama? Absolutely not. I forbid it. You are not to follow us under any circumstances, Maiko. Fine, I'll stay here, just like you said. I'll be here in the mansion. All alone, unprotected, all by myself. Who knows what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die. Or slip on a banana peel and die. Or get bored and die of boredom. I'd be so super duper bored sitting all alone in the same place, day in and day out. Fine, I get it. You may come along, but you must be on your best behavior, little one. No running around and no talking unless spoken to. Okay. Despite Maiko's cheerfulness, I can't help but wonder what had happened between Machiko and Suyuri for her to react so strongly. I decided that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters and get to know them better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world, so there's really no need to rush. How about we do something else instead? I'm sure Machiko-san wouldn't mind the distraction. Well, the longer I get to stay away from that place, the better. How about bringing Maiko-chan along to go fetch some desserts for us? There are oranges, apples, and a small vineyard behind the mansion. I could whip up some cream to go with it, if you'd like. Berries and whipped cream, unsweetened, are like, oh, so good. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let's get us some delicious fruit, Maiko-chan. Alright. As Maiko Maiko leads me toward the garden of the impressive mansion. She seems a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail hung low told me it probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I would simply try to cheer her up. So which do you prefer, Maiko-chan? Apples, grapes, or oranges? We could gather all three, but I bet we can grab a few for ourselves first. Apples, I guess? I knew a fox spirit once, a friend of Oni-sama, who loved apples. I can't remember her name, though. I guess my head's a bit hollow. Apples are awesome. Crunchy on the outside and sweet on the inside. And your head isn't hollow, silly. If that was true, I think I'd still be stuck in the jail cell. Oni-sama did most of the thinking, though. I just sort of went along with what she said. Well, someone has to take the lead. Besides, I'm still grateful for your help, all the same. How about... I playfully flick Maiko's forehead with a grin. See? It doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there's plenty of clever thoughts in there, that pretty little head of yours. Ow, Nini. Now you know I'm right, at least. Anyway, let's get those apples, shall we? Okay, I'll get them. You go grab that basket over there. Alright, let's get down to business. Feeling hyped, I went to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and returned to Maiko, who had started climbing one of the trees. This is going to be an under-ladder shot, and all fan servicey. You wait. You know what's coming. The girl looked accustomed to climbing, but her small hands had me a bit worried. Hanging from a branch with just her legs, she checked to see if the apples were ripe. Maiko-chan, be careful, you might slip— Ow! The girl had thrown an apple at me, and while my reflexes let me catch it with ease, the force behind it still stung my palm a little. Of course, I did exaggerate a bit for the girl. Haha, I'll be fine, Taka-kun. I've been climbing these trees all my life. Even the most experienced climbers end up running into trouble if they aren't careful. I smiled weakly at the girl's excited attitude, placing the apple I caught into the basket. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a fox spirit. I won't fall. I'm super careful. Watch. I'll grab the apples near the top. Wait, Maiko-chan, unless you can fly, I don't think you should go for those. Fly? I can't do that, silly Taka-kun. Who has ever heard of flying fox spirit? As expected, the moment Maiko tried to reach for one of the apples near the top of the tree, the girl ended up losing her footing and tumbling down toward the ground with a loud cry. Maiko! My reflexes quickly kicked themselves into gear, trying to catch the girl before she hit the ground. Unfortunately, I didn't notice the apples scattered around near the tree, and as a result, ended up tripping over them. I managed another few steps and was able to catch Maiko before I dropped to the ground. Alright, so it wasn't a ladder shot, it's going to be another prone shot, this time of the younger fox girl, but you know it's coming. My head was throbbing once I had recovered from the fall. I tried to sit up, but found myself held down by a small but substantial weight. Opening my eyes, I looked up to see Maiko sitting on my lap. Owie, I guess I tried to reach a bit too far. Thank you, Takahiro. You saved me. You gave me a soft, well, kinda soft and kinda hard landing. Maiko-chan, do you mind your you're crushing me. Wow, oh my gosh, Takahiro, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. As the younger girl grew increasingly flustered, I knew I had to calm her down. Gently, I tilted my legs beneath her, and she toppled forward, her head resting against my chest. I guess we've learned that fox spirits can be pretty clumsy, or maybe that Maiko is even cuter up close than I'd thought. Well, Takahiro, I think you're mistaking me for Onisama. Nope, I'm talking about you. You have the innocent side to you that's really charming. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people from the village would want to claim you as their adorable little sister once we've cleared up those misunderstandings. Little sister being a friendly term in the translation. I'd be happy to call you my brother, Takahiro, but lots of people in that village are super mean. I just want to spend time with you and Onisama. Brother? How about darling? Darling? I don't know if I'm ready for that. Really? I think we'd be a cute couple. A hero and a fox spirit, living happily ever after. Your sister could stay too. We could raise a little family. I mean, we already have a house, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. And any guy from my world would kill to have a pretty wife like you. I held back a chuckle, knowing all too well that my teasing was taking effect, and yet I was also happy to see her spirits seemingly lifted. Thank you, Takini. I think Taka-kun would be better. Machiko-san probably wouldn't like another sibling, but I'm glad you cheered up. You didn't seem too happy earlier. The way your tail and ears were hanging low reminded me of a scolded puppy. Huh? Oh, right, I was just thinking is all. You know, about the spell I wanted to try, the one that needed the silky wedding undies. Wedding sash. It's kind of like a belt that the bride wears during the ceremony. I doubt that spell involving panties would be a good idea to cast. So a wedding sash is kind of like a bride's veil, except on a kimono, wedding kimono. Oh, I thought it was like wedding undies for you to wear on your wedding night. Anyway, the spell, I don't know why, but I've wanted to try it for a little while now, and well, it's a gate spell, not like those temporary ones. Those are easy to make. A permanent one, like a portal to a different place. It sounds interesting, but are you sure it's safe? Silly Takani. That's not the point. This spell, it might be able to help you. Well, that's good and all. I'd prefer not ending up in the middle of the sea or a live volcano. I think we should be a bit more careful with your magic. I'm a good mage. That's what Harry said when he told Atlantis he had a solution to their water shortage. Harry? Atlantis? Water shortage? What's Atlantis? A city with high ambitions, sunk into the deep due to poor management. Anyway, I think it's best if we get an expert's opinion before we try anything. We're going to visit Tsuyuri anyway, so maybe she'll be able to tell us if your spell will get me home. Wow, but Susha-chan told me I shouldn't use magic at all. She said it was only for her to use or something. Maybe she had a reason for saying that? Like maybe, I don't know. Do spells have side effects? You're just like Oni-sama. She forbids me too, but I showed her that spells could be helpful and that I can control them, and so she let me do more research. I'm not going to throw spells around like they're nothing. I'm not a dumb little kid. I'm not going to do anything. Besides, you seem old enough to take care of yourself. Not that I know how old someone like you might be, but... Beware of the dark side of magic. In most stories, magic usually comes with a price. Like, what would you do if your magic gave you a terrible tummy ache, or headaches, or worse, diarrhea? Then you better prepare a gate spell to the nearest bathroom. I do get headaches, but those aren't really all that big a deal, and I get to do a lot of things for Oni-sama. I'm not going to change that ever, so there. I already said I wasn't going to make you do anything. However, what you do need to change is the fact that you're straddling me and, you're rather close, so I'd appreciate it if you would get off. Oh, but you're so warm and soft. I could just curl up and sleep on you. Wait, don't go falling asleep on me. Just kidding. I wouldn't do something like that out here. Maybe tonight, though. It's only fair since Oni-sama got to do it. But more importantly, dessert. We need to go back inside. Oni-sama is probably wondering what's taking so long. I couldn't really argue with the girl's impeccable logic. With a smile, I helped the girl get to her feet and gathered the few fallen apples into the basket. We returned to Machiko and enjoyed our dessert together. It wasn't too long after that Maiko started to feel sleepy, so Machiko took her to bed, wishing me a good night. I think we're gonna call it here. I know we haven't really gotten into the meat of the story, but these games are super long, and if you want to see the rest of one of these games, let me know in the comments. Maybe we can make that happen. I'm working toward a place where I'd like to be able to do more long-form videos, but it's super hard because I'm doing this as a hobby, and, you know, I'm not a professional streamer or anything yet. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up. That really helps with traffic. Also, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't, whether you'd like to see more of these kinds of things or not. And if you aren't already subscribed to this channel, you should fix that, because really, why not subscribe to this channel? Just hit that subscription button, and when you do, make sure you hit that dingy bell, because that will let you know when I upload new videos, which I do every single day. Thank you for joining me today for our first Spring Sakura Sunday. We have been playing Sakura Spirits. I have been Step, this has been Game-A-Dayer, and please join me tomorrow for Mobile Monday, when I'll be playing something?